So what's the difference between the ID attribute and the class attribute? The ID attribute. We have a simple web page and we're going to put a heading in. We'll do that with H1 and we close it. Put some text in. And then we're going to add an ID. And the syntax of the ID is ID equals open speech marks, the name, and the closing speech mark. So red is the name in this case. And we can target this ID by styles. So we have a opening style tag. We close it. And the way we access the ID or target the ID is using the hash sign with the name and then a style, color red in this case. And we can see that the heading has become red. So in HTML, we're not allowed to have multiple IDs with the same name. So let's take an example. Let's have another heading, H2 for example. Close it, put some text in, and let's have the same ID with the same name. Okay, and now this is wrong, and Dreamweaver is indicating this. The browser does render it correctly because browsers are very forgiving, but it's not correct HTML. Also, the names of the IDs are case sensitive. Let's take another example. We'll have a paragraph, we'll close it, put some text in, and we'll put the same ID with the same name. Okay, we see it's red, but now we change the case and we see it's the default black. The class attribute. Okay, we have another simple web page. We're going to do a similar thing. We're going to have a heading. Close the heading, put some text in. This time we're going to have a class. And the syntax of the class, similar to the ID, we have class equals opening speech marks, the name, and the closing speech marks. In this case, the name is green. Just going to copy that across. And we see now it is valid HTML. We can have multiple classes with the same name. And Dreamweaver is not flagging that up. Okay, we'll do a paragraph. And again, we can put the class in with the same name and it is valid HTML. So we can style now all these elements with the class of green. Let's put the style tag in. We'll close it. And this time we use a full stop instead of the hash to indicate it's a class. And we'll colour it green. And that's it really, quite simple. And again, the names are case sensitive. The difference. Let's summarise. So for IDs, the name of the ID should be unique. So you're not allowed to have multiple IDs with the same name. That's not correct HTML. Also, you can style the IDs using the hash symbol. Now for classes, you can have multiple classes with the same name. That is valid HTML. And you style the classes using the full stop symbol or the period. Do we really need IDs? So the question you might be asking yourself, why use IDs? Because IDs you have to have a unique name, and in classes you don't. So indeed, developers, they do use classes when it comes to styling elements. They don't use IDs. Now there are some cases where IDs are very useful. One of them is in form labels, and another usage is in internal links. And I've got videos on these if you would like to have a look.